Best and worst road agents.
Uh, Worst road agent in the sense that I don't think it was really what he was cut out to do was George Steele. Just wasn't his forte. One of the best I think was Terry Taylor. Terry Taylor was a guy that like you could come to and go, hey Terry, I'm thinking about trying to do this, and he would offer suggestions or thoughts or ideas on how you could pull it off. Like one night, I'm going to work with Kristen Winsky, and I'm like, I want to go out there and I literally want to make one singular punch mean everything. Like I want to use that one punch to elicit such a reaction that right out of that we can take the match home, and then that will get Chris heat. That was the objective. And like he's like, well, do this, do that, maybe that, and we talked back and forth. And then I was, it's on Raw. It was broadcast. Um, and I was able to pull it off. I was able to just throw one single punch and the place just lit up, because we had built the heat, the want, that desire to see it happen throughout the match. And then when I finally delivered it, got the people at a point where we could just go home.
It's funny, I actually interviewed Rip Rogers a month ago, if that, and he
Mhm.
extolled the virtues of making one punch mean everything as well. And I was, I was just throwing the fishing rod out, and I didn't even have to bait the line. I knew what he was. Yeah, I knew he'd just like come out with a diatribe and said, "What do you think of the 10 punches in the corner?" It's like, God damn, he just went straight off
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, yeah,
Just because you
yeah.
mentioned Terry Taylor,
Hmm.
I know it's going to be probably a fairly simple answer and everything, but why wasn't Terry just a bigger star in general? Because he always seemed like he had everything.
He did. He did. Terry had everything. It's just sometimes it's either you're just missing that one little intrinsic thing that you can't put your finger on, or it's the fact that the wrestler themselves is their own worst enemy, because I think two things that held Terry a little bit back was, one, describe him to me in a sentence or less. Give me a definable character trait
Mm.
that he had. Okay. And that right there, to be a star, is unquestionably is the absolute most vital thing that you have to have. You have to be able to turn to your friends and family and be able to go, oh, there's this guy and he's A, B, C, D, E. Shane and I were talking about it last night. Like that was one of the things that made ECW what it was that everyone on that show you could describe. Every person had a character. If you really think about it, and everybody, goes on and on about the Attitude Era, well, the reason that it was so popular and that you enjoyed it so much is because every person on that show, everyone meant something, and everyone was somebody you could describe. Well, being able to describe someone means that they are an attraction. Being an attraction means that they are a star. And so every single person on that show, from bottom to top, were stars. Everyone in ECW at the time when it was really hot, every one of them were stars. Because think about it, every one of them you could describe in a sentence or less to your friends and family. If they are somebody that you can't describe, that you can't just, it doesn't invoke uh, your imagination and your passion and a description, they're a great performer, but they're not a great star.
Mm.
In the 80s, when wrestling was uber hot, super hot, right? Because some couldn't dare, oh, well, Attitude Era was much more successful. Not really. I mean, yeah, of course, financially, because there were other avenues and other streams of revenue, and that they didn't have in the 80s. You think about it. In the 80s, they didn't run Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They ran Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they got to a point where they were selling out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then they were running A and B towns on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then some weekends on a Saturday, they would run an A, B, and a C town. You know, that's 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 pretty strong business. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Pretty strong. And that was all predicated off of the fact that from start to finish, you could know who these people were, relate to who they were, describe them to your friends, and then care about whether or not they won or lost based on their identities.
I
And
yeah,
that's the most important thing.
I don't know if you like this or not. When Matt Groening was designing The Simpsons, he wanted
Mhm,
to design them like Batman. You could tell from the
mhm.
silhouette exactly who they are. And I sort of
Yes.
think that was the same with the wrestlers, the WWF wrestlers of the 80s and 90s golden eras, because you could tell who they were just by the silhouette, whether it was Savage or
Mhm,
Beefcake or whoever it may be. You knew exactly who they were, let alone described them in a sentence, really concisely.
mhm.
I'm
And
going
they
to
were all distinct. They were all different.
exactly,
They all, and not just from a presentation standpoint of gear or promos, but their style in the ring was definitively different than the other 10 or 12 or 15 guys that were on the show. They stood out. And that I'm not bagging on modern wrestling, but that's a big part of what's missing today. Is you can't, tell me, one describe Seth Rollins to me. You know what I mean? To where I, a casual fan, go, oh well shit, I want to watch this guy.